Welcome to the 2026 Student Advisor Forum. My name is Charles Jeter. I'm the Executive Director of Government Affairs, Policy, and Board Communications for the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education. And we are here for the forum. We have 11 finalists this year that are sitting here at the dais with us. And then we have our current student advisor, Lucy Silverstein, and one of our finalists last year, the ever dapper Quentin Canty. So I'm going to turn it over to Lucy. She's going to do some introductions and a little bit of conversation, and then we'll go into the questions. I do want to say that we're just so proud of all of you. We had a tremendous number of applicants. Amy and I, who serve on the review panel, I think will both tell you this was one of the hardest years to pick the finalists, which is why we have our largest crew. We've never had 11 before, but we couldn't cut it because of the quality of the 11 of you. So real excited about the opportunity, and I turn it over to you, Ms. Silverstein.
Thank you. Yes, as Mr. Jeter mentioned, my name is Lucy Silverstein, and I am currently the 2025 Charlotte-Mecklenburg School Student Advisor. Basically, that role is just the liaison between the Board of Education and the students, providing a student perspective on all the topics presented to make sure that students are heard accurately. So yeah, I think we're going to get into opening statements.
Alrighty, so we're going to get into our opening statements. All candidates will have 1 minute, and we're going to start with Ahana.
Hi, my name is Ahana Amraudkar, and I'm a junior at Ardrey Kell High School. I want to be CMS Student Advisor because I want to be the voice for all people in CMS, all students of CMS. Doesn't matter how underrepresented they are. Doesn't matter how small their school is. I want to be their voice. I want to be there to listen to all student concerns. I want to make sure that we create higher efficacy between the board and the students and make sure that they really feel like what their opinions are and what their experiences is really reflected through the actions of the board. At my school, I'm part of my student council, I'm part of my lacrosse team, and I'm part of my debate team. I also participate in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Youth Council, which is a really great organization that helps promote student voices in the district.
We're going to go around, so.
Oh. Hi, I'm Sinai Bailey. I'm a junior at Independence High School. I'm the owner of my own nonprofit, A Breath for Annalise, as well as the president of Novant Health's Team Board. And through these leadership opportunities, I've learned how important student voices are. So I want to be able to be the student that can advocate for all students across CMS, whether you're a new student, a transfer student, a foreign exchange student. I want to make sure that all students feel welcomed in their high school because this is where we come to learn and to have fun and to basically get the foundation of our future careers. So I want to make sure that I'm able to be open to everyone and hear everyone's ideas.
Hi, I'm Sophie Chang. I'm a junior at Providence High School, and I'm so excited to be here today. I'm so excited to represent all students' voices in CMS schools. It doesn't matter what background you're from, who you are as a person. I'm here for all of you. A little bit about me. I'm in the leadership class at Providence, part of student council, and I'm in French Honor Society. I've danced for 13 years. I play the violin for 6, and I own a boutique in Southern Lyon at Carolina Place Mall. I'm really passionate about making sure all students' voices are heard. Because I was in that position where I didn't know who to go to about some of my concerns, so I want to make sure that I am that person for you, and so I can relay everything to the Board of Education.
Hi, my name is Eric Cortez Escalante, and I'm a junior at Julius L. Chambers High School. I'm just really into leadership opportunities and anything that involves helping other people. A few things about me is that I'm a junior class president at my Chambers Student Council. I'm in the National Honor Society chapter for my school. I'm currently working on building my own nonprofit called the Helping Hands Initiative. Student-led student initiative. Another thing I'm a part of is Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools Project Red Student Executive Board, which just really goes into battling drugs against schools, battling against drug use in schools and just in general. And yeah.
Hi, my name is Brianna. I'm a junior at Huff High School, and a little bit about me. I'm involved in my school's student council. I've served as my class's president for the past 2 years, and I really am passionate about leadership and advocating for students' voices. I had an internship during the summer where I saw how communication is lacking in some schools, and I really want to make a difference by becoming student advisor to build that bridge between this board and students and really make sure that students' voices are heard and represented. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Devon English. I'm a junior at Hawthorne High School. I'm involved into our student government. I'm the student advisor. I'm in the National Honor Society for my school's chapter. I'm the former Black Student Alliance president. And I'm here to make sure every voice is heard, no matter who you are. I've seen firsthand what it's like for students to be afraid to come to their administration team to speak to people of authority, and I think it's important that we have someone who's confident enough to do that.
Hi, I'm Chanel Gill. I'm a junior at West Mecklenburg High School, and I'll save you the burden of listening to all my leadership experience, but I will bring up two. The first is that I am a member of the Charlotte Mecklenburg Youth Council, like many of the amazing individuals we have today, and most importantly, I am a two-time alumni of the Foundation of Individual Rights and Expression. So through my time at FIRE and being a CMS student, I have seen inequity in the school system. It's not just at West Mecklenburg, it's at Harding, it's at West Charlotte, it's at POB, and so much more. So as student advisor, I'll ensure that these issues and that these needs are met, because this is not an issue about wants, it's an issue about needs. And students' needs, whether that be mental health or communication or overall education, are just simply not being met. So because every student matters, not just the ones who are currently at the table or the ones who have the resources to be at the table, but the ones who are at home unaware that they have a seat at the table.
Hello, my name is Inshara Gopinath. I am a proud student of North Mecklenburg High School, and I'm a junior. And I am very excited and grateful for this opportunity to be here with all of you individuals today. The reason I want to be CMS advisor is because I've noticed that one of the biggest facing issues along CMS students, especially high schoolers, is mental health. We are expected to thrive academically, emotionally, socially, and even athletically, but most people don't know that a lot of us struggle silently behind the scenes. So I want to be there as somebody who can be there for the students, not just speaking for them, but speaking with them. Because I believe that if we speak together, we can truly get to the end goal.
Hi, my name is Winnie Gracie. Hi, my name is Winnie Gracie. I go to Rocky River. I'm a junior. And I'm really passionate about equity and making sure that all schools, especially Title I schools, have an opportunity to have the same resources. Because school can make and break an opportunity. And I feel like, as student advisor, I want to make sure that all students have the opportunity to have as many resources as they can. I'm a founder of my school's mock trial. I'm an SGA, and I'm in JRTC, and I've held leadership positions in JRTC for the last 2 years. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Devin Miller. I'm a junior at Philip Berry. And, I'm not going to bore you with a long speech, but I am a part of the Charlotte Mecklenburg Youth Council. I've been a member for over a year, and I'm also the founder of my local chapter called Simplified Civics, which is basically an organization that will help people to know about politics, basically. And the reason why I want to be a student advisor is because we live in unprecedented times. And I think that is more important now than ever to have a listener as student advisor, to actually know and get to know the issues that face us all. And that's why I'm running. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Nandana. I'm a junior at Valentine Ridge High School, and I think the reason that I wanted to be student advisor this year is because of my experience at BRHS. Kind of going from AK to BRHS, it's opened my eyes to how much education policy truly does matter, and I've become really passionate about it. So some of the things that I'm running on is having better student mental health support, like increasing the nutrition and making school lunch free, increasing the quality of our ELL programs, and also the accessibility of individualized education programs. And I think among other things, my leadership positions include debate, mock trial, the Center for Racial Equity in Education, and also the Green Schools Alliance. So overall, I think if there's one thing that you want to take away from my campaign and my positions, it's equity of opportunity. I truly want students in every single school to feel represented, and if it matters to you, it matters to me. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, if that's not an impressive group of candidates, then I don't know what is. But we're gonna head into our next question. So for this next question, you guys are gonna have 45 seconds. I'm gonna call you by name, so when you're gonna go, and I'll repeat it if you need it. So the question is, next year you will graduate and face the choice of enrolling in college, enlisting in the military, or finding employment. What path do you envision for your future and why? Okay, we're gonna start with Nanhana.
Sorry, can you repeat that
Yeah,
question?
of course, no worries. So next year, you will graduate and face the choice of enrolling in college, enlisting in the military, or finding employment. What path do you envision for your future, and why?
I envision myself pursuing college because I'm truly someone that loves learning. I know that sounds like cringy, but I really am. Like, I enjoy, one of my favorite subjects that I took last year was AP Government, and this year AP US History. I enjoy learning about these things because I think it really helps us as students understand our like civic responsibilities, what we can do as students, and that the power we have. And so I think going to college would allow me to build on that education and those opportunities, and kind of allowing me to branch out into my desired career, which is actually to go into political science. So yeah, I think that would help me.
Perfect. Next, we're going to bring it back around to Hannah.
Hi. So I also do want to pursue college. I want to pursue a higher education, and I think that's because education is really power in society. I want to learn more about stuff that I'm interested in. I want to know how to tackle challenges about like the career I want to go into, and I really feel like if I go to college, I get that experience first of all, and I get connections. I get to meet people that I will hopefully have for the rest of my life, and I get to have that experience of learning so many things that will help me later on in life. I think that with college, you get so much knowledge that helps you not only in your job. Like, yes, of course, I would like to be a lawyer when I grow up, but I think outside of that, it would help me with knowing more about the world, knowing more about how to be a better citizen, knowing more about how our policies shape our life and things like that.
Okay, we're gonna go over to Sinai.
Hi, I do see myself pursuing a higher education and then later on going to medical school. I truly feel like it's important to go to college for me personally because I want to be able to experience new things as well as learning different cultures and different backgrounds of people, because I truly feel like it's better to be a more a well-rounded person if you really want to be a leader and make a change in your community. So I do see myself going to college.
Perfect. We're gonna head over to Sophie.
Okay, so I plan on going to college as well. I want to get a higher education. I plan to major in either business management or entrepreneurship, which is one of my favorite classes at Providence. I would be the first in my family to attend a college in the United States, so I'm very excited for that process. But being able to attain a higher education is such a privilege in the United States, and I think that that is something that I really want to pursue. So, yeah.
Okay, next is Eric.
So I do see myself pursuing more education, a higher education, getting a degree in business administration, and then going back to school or going to a program to receive my real estate license. Just like everybody else mentioned here before me, I really do believe that getting an education is an opportunity that my parents and other family members weren't able to, only because of the resources and the opportunities that they didn't get. So yeah.
Thank you. Brianna.
Okay. I feel like, to be honest, I've been all over the place, like deciding what I want to do with my future, and I feel like that's such a common thing for like students nowadays. But I've always known like I wanted to help other like kids and children like growing up. So I don't know whether I know for a fact that I want to go into a further education, and as a first generation American, as like I feel like a lot of us here, just want to make my family proud and get that privilege of going into education in America and be able to help someone, whether that's in family law or even child psychology. But I definitely know I want to go into further education in college. Yeah.
Okay, Devon.
I do plan on enrolling into college. I plan on going to the Air Force Academy, not just because I want to achieve a higher education, but because I feel like serving for something above myself, helping out and serving for our nation's military fighting for things that our nation believes in, and hopefully I do as well. I believe it's important for us to go beyond what we want, but think about what everyone wants as a whole, as a nation, and protecting our freedoms.
Perfect. Okay, Chanel.
So education is actually one of my passions. As a Dominican, most of my family did not have the education that I have, obviously, through school. It is a privilege to be educated, and I recognize that. And what Sinai was talking about earlier, it makes you a well-rounded person. I hope to study and pursue political science and then law, so I can be in politics and legislation to help kids in the education system, like hope I can be doing as a student advisor.
Perfect. Next, we're gonna head to Inchara.
As someone who has shockingly thoroughly enjoyed her 3 years of high school so far, I believe that an educated youth has an insurmountable level of power to our society, and therefore I also want to pursue college. I plan on majoring in biochemistry, going on the medicine path to medical school, and enjoy my years there.
I'll call you up if I ever need a doctor. Winnie, you're next.
Hi, like Devon, I also want to go into the Air Force, sort of for the same reason, but also because I've been in JRTC. I've seen how well the leadership has helped me, how unfortunately the PT has helped me, and I feel like serving my country because I'm not from here, I'm an immigrant, and seeing how hard my parents worked and seeing what they've done to get me here, I feel like getting an education and serving the country that they got me here is really important to me. I want to be a lawyer. I want to go into law school for probably family law too. I love working with children. I always have. And I feel like making an impact the same way that my teachers made with me back in elementary school when I first got here, when I was first learning English, is really important to me.
Perfect. Next, we're going to go to Devon.
Well, like many candidates this evening, I also would like to pursue political science once I get to college. And, the reason why I do is because I have been, really over the last 2 years, very passionate about global events and serving others, which is the reason why I'm on the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Youth Council. And listen, I think that if you want to be able to really make an impact in your community, it starts right now. It starts here. It starts by being a part of CMYC. It starts by being a student advisor. Even in student government, you can still make an impact. And so I think that that's why I want to go into political science to serve others.
Wow. I cannot be any more amazed. Just seeing everybody, kind of with similar pathways, but everybody coming from different walks of life, having different perspectives, and just being able to, want to pursue that higher education. It's very empowering as, us as moderators. And that also leads into our next portion of the forum, which is the split questions. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around, and it's kind of going to popcorn around. I'm going to let you know who's going to be answering my question, and Lucy's going to let you know who's going to be answering your question, and you're going to have 45 seconds, okay? So my question is, how will you ensure that you represent all students to the board? And we're going to start with Sinai.
In order to make sure that I'm heard, that other students are all being heard to me, or whatever my position is, I want to make sure that I can maybe start a program where students that's sent out through CMS, where students can maybe send out a message or whatever, and it can go through whoever our advisor is or whoever is in charge of it, and it can come to me. And if they don't feel like talking to an adult, then they can just talk to me about it. And in any way that they need help, I can maybe talk to them or try to voice their opinion through me and bring that up to whoever I need to.
Fantastic. Next up, we'll have Sophie.
Okay, so I plan on doing this by making sure that my social media is so available and accessible to other students. I feel like that's such a big part of our lives, especially in our generation, that is where people feel the most comfortable sometimes. Not necessarily saying that people aren't comfortable with speaking face to face, but that's just something that in our times has evolved. So making sure that my social media, student advisor social media is available, and even in class, creating something like a Google form or like a link to something where students are able to make sure that they have that option to make all their opinions heard.
I love that idea. Eric?
A few ways that I feel like I'm going to make. Sorry, could you repeat that question for me?
Absolutely. How will you ensure that you represent all students to the board?
As I was saying, I believe that just making communication as accessible and available as possible. I know that a lot of teachers, counselors, principals, administration, everybody in your school always has these resources, and being able to give these resources to them would make it more available. Just like Sophie said, social media is one of my biggest platforms. Using the student advisor Instagram account, using the email, just using a whole bunch of new initiatives to make communication accessible is how I'll represent.
Okay. Brianna?
I would love to just be able, what was the question again? Sorry.
Absolutely. How will you ensure that you represent all students to the board?
Okay. So I'll definitely make sure to make sure that students know that I'm here as a person to represent them to the board, because I know students have a lot to say and a lot of opinions. I mean, I'm sure we all have different ideas and things we want to say but don't know how to say it. So I want to make sure students know that I'm here to voice their opinions and their concerns, and definitely work on social media, because I feel like that's such a big thing with our generation, and making sure they know that how many opportunities are available for them if they just look, and making sure those resources are really out to them so they can see it.
Fantastic. Devon?
Like many of our fellow I plan on using the student advisor Instagram, like many of us. I plan on using our current SGAs, high school SGAs, to send out different forms for the student advisor to review to get student feedback. I think it's also a good idea for us to be able to send out either monthly or weekly feedback forms through the CMS Student Square. I think those are very effective ways, quick and easy, and it also gives students a chance to be personal and give their ideas.
Thank you so much for answering that question. Last but certainly not least, we have Ahana.
Hi. So first, I would do this in a number of different ways. First, I would do surveys on Google Forms where there would be open response questions. You could just say your concern and it would be anonymous. So because I know some people are scared of saying what they're thinking, so things like that, and it would be multiple choice questions. You could be this is my concern. You could rank your concerns. Another thing is Instagram, like many of you said, the CMS Student Advisor Instagram. There's a tool where you can do a question on your story or something like that, and you can just anonymously reply, things like that, and we can get that feedback. And then also you can contact SGAs and ask them for their feedback. And I plan to send out all these surveys and things like that I talked about through student emails so that everybody in the district gets it, and it's not just the big schools who get it or the small schools who get it, everyone gets it.
Perfect. I might have to steal some of your guys' ideas. Those were great. We're going to head into around the same question, kind of the same way, except I'll call your name when it's time. Okay, so our question is, how would you keep all students informed and involved in decisions? And we're going to start with Inshara.
Okay, so CMS, as we all know, is very, very big. So it's a big step into acknowledging how we can address each of our hundreds of thousands of students. Number one, I would like to say, yes, while social media is a very, very beneficial platform for us to use, in this one-year term, I want to also normalize branching out, not just using social media, but also being able to see these kids face-to-face. This would include, again, brilliant ideas like Google Forms, actually visiting their schools, getting to know them as their student advisor. They want to see that person that is representing them and fight this prevalent stigma that is hindering kids from speaking out loud on social media itself.
Perfect. Okay, we're going to head over to Winnie.
Hi. I feel like using social media and using all these platforms like student email, announcements, SGA is a good idea. But I feel like we have to remember that CMS does not just include high school, it's also middle and elementary schoolers. So I feel like going to fall festivals, international fairs, etc., and using those resources to show that, hey, even though you're 5, you still have a voice, you know? You can talk to me, you have a problem at your school, that's fine. Thank you.
Perfect. We're going to head over to Devin.
Look, I think that social media is a very, very powerful tool. And it is difficult to overestimate the ability of social media, especially, let's be honest, the vast majority of, especially high schoolers nowadays, get their information from social media. The thing is, the Board of Education specifically, in my view, needs to work on being more transparent. And as student advisor, not only will I use social media, but I feel like we could create a district-wide student square in order to send out very, very important information like school closures and stuff like that. So that's why I think.
Perfect. That's great. We're going to move over to Nanhana.
Yeah, so I completely agree with like everything that everyone has said so far, but I really want to touch on what Inchara said about stigma, because I think that's completely true. That the reason that we're seeing this gap in communication between students and the Board of Education or the policies that's being implemented is the fact that students just don't want to reach out in fear of retaliation, fear of getting in trouble or anything else. So there's that divide, and I really want to bridge that through all the methods that were said today, whether it be social media, whether it be forums that are anonymous, whether it be through actually going to schools, speaking at assemblies. I really want to make sure that we can maximize the amount of students that we reach and actually talk about policies in ways that are equitable to all students.
Great. We're going to move over to Chanel.
Could you repeat the question?
Yes, of course. The question is, how would you keep all students informed and involved in decisions?
So firstly, as a lot of us are here today, we are all in student government. But does student government actually do anything outside of our schools? So as student advisor, I would make sure that I actually contact and have meetings with the student government representatives, because that's our job. We're not only representing our schools to ourselves, we're representing it to our student advisors. So I get information from all the student governments and all the schools that way. And then as what other people have said, social media, while it can also be not beneficial, as you know, with the North Carolina laws, we've banned social media and phones in schools, but people can still use that outside of school. And as in the new technological era that we are in, a lot of students, such as myself, are addicted to our phones, and they will see the information one way or another. And through that, we will spread Google Forms and polls so that we can get thorough and accurate information from every student, not just their governments, but themselves as well.
Wow. I wish that I was here, like, actually running with y'all, because I'm loving the way that y'all are answering these questions. Next question that I have, and I'll start with Winnie for this question. If you had the power to change one thing at CMS, what would it be and why?
It would definitely be the level of equity, because coming from a Title I school, I go to Rocky River. I can definitely see the level of difference between Rocky River and a school like, say, Myers Park. And it's not to the fault of the CMS board or anyone, it's just the way things have been, and it's just the way of, like, how people are living in there. And I understand that Myers Park has more opportunities because of the people living there. They have more resources to give. But I feel like CMS board could maybe do more to give more levels of resources to Rocky River. Because we do get the same level of resources, and that's amazing. We love equality. But we have to remember that equity is still a very, very important thing, and to maybe implement that more.
Thank you so much. Next up is Ahana.
Yeah, so adding on to what Winnie said, I also do want to increase equity in our schools. I think that with big schools like AK, we have a lot of resources. We have so many clubs. We have all the AP classes, IB classes, whatever. We have all of that. We have so many sports, and I feel like a lot of the small schools, first of all, they don't get that same funding that we get, and also a lot of people at those schools, they want to join these opportunities. They want to do an internship. They want to go volunteering. They want to do all of this, but they don't have the funds for it. They're not aware of it, or their school simply doesn't have it. And so I feel like addressing these issues, going to these schools and kind of picking what each school needs and making it personalized and creating personal solutions for each school, just to kind of uplift everyone and make sure they have what they need.
Next up, we'll have Brianna.
Wait, sorry. The question was...
Would you like me to repeat it?
Yeah, please, sorry.
No problem. If you had the power to change one thing at CMS, what would it be and why?
Okay, so it would definitely be like communication between, or not between schools, but on opportunities. And not that I think it's the board's fault necessarily, because there's so many opportunities that are given to us from the board. I think it's just a matter of students knowing what's out there, and especially me and like other people going to such a big school. I feel like resources are like passed differently, and we have different opportunities compared, or students are taking more advantage of them. Whereas like smaller schools, I've seen some people don't even know certain clubs exist, or they don't have as much participation, which I would love to include, because there's so many people, like you guys were saying, that are looking for opportunities but don't know where to find them.
Brilliant answer, by the way. Next up, we'll have Devon.
I think one thing in CMS that we need to fix and or improve is our motivation for students. I feel like in the past years we have cracked down on a lot of things students can't do and forgotten about liberty in our schools. I think it's important for the board to encourage students to want to keep going into their education, keep excelling into things that they want to pursue in life. Yeah.
Next up is Eric.
One thing I feel like we should address as a whole in general, no matter if I win, is the English learner programs and the tools that we'll use for translation, and just the opportunities that they'll have. A lot of these people don't get the same, I know we've talked about having the same opportunities, equity, things such as that, but our students who are learning English, those who don't speak English, are having a, I wouldn't say terrible, but a hard and difficult time just learning in general, and then also getting these opportunities such as student advisor.
And lastly, we'll have Sophie.
Okay, so like some of my others have said, I think that being able to communicate different opportunities to all CMS schools, middle schools, high schools, any of that, because I feel like I'm very proud to be a Providence student, but I've also seen other schools not receive the same opportunities that we have. Some might be unaware of what they're able to do, and they're not pushing themselves to their goals because they don't have the resources. I just want to make sure that communication is like very clear, it's easy, definitely, because sometimes like as a student you might feel that the Board of Education is intimidating, so making sure people are comfortable with voicing opportunities.
Perfect. All great, valid points. We're going to head into our next question. Okay, so we're going to start with Chanel this time, and your question is, what is your #1 concern about CMS, and what should be done to fix it?
This is actually one of my passions. So again, I go to West Mecklenburg, so I've seen what's happening actively towards the Title I schools of our community. We're not receiving funding, we barely have classes, barely have teachers. For example, for math, I haven't had a teacher in over 3 years. And I noticed that that is an extreme issue, and especially in Title I schools, that we're not able to have teachers, we're not able to have funding. So that's my main thing. Because Title I schools, I live in West Side. We don't have a lot of taxes. Everyone here is economically disadvantaged. We cannot offer much to the school system as if someone were to live in the South or North. So that's my main thing, that we do not receive funding, we lack teachers because we're Title I, and I want to advocate that for other schools such as Rocky, Hawthorne, PRB, West Charlotte, that we have teachers and we have funding.
Great point. Okay, we're going to head over to Sinai.
So a lot of my panelists has talked about issues that I actually am passionate about myself. So I want to change to a different light. I would think that CMS would need to improve on their transportation and just how students are able to get around. I've talked to a lot of students from different schools, and one of their biggest issues that I hear transportation-wise is express stops. So I would like to advocate for express stops to be more accessible to students, so they're not driving 15-20 minutes at like 5 o'clock in the morning just to get to school, as well as having cross guards at our schools especially for high school students. I hear a lot about seniors, how they try to drive out of the parking lot and there's no one to direct traffic. So I would like to make that improvement.
Yes, that's very important. Okay, we're going to head over to Nanhana.
So I think one of the biggest issues that I've seen in CMS, and it's not the fault of the board or the administration, but rather I think it's just an issue that truly impacts students. I heard someone saying in like the lunchroom, school is somewhere that we're legally required to be, so why do I have to pay to get my lunch here? Why do I have to pay to eat? And I think that's something that really struck me, because I was like if students, you have to eat to live. So the fact that students are having to pay amounts that they aren't able to, and they're embarrassed to go ask for help, I think it's a really big issue. And I think everything around like equity of opportunity, everything around communication really goes around that. So that's one thing I'd like to address.
Yes, I agree. Very important. Okay, we're gonna head over to Inchara.
Okay, so as someone who takes speech and debate and golf very seriously at my school, I have seen funding for our coaches and teachers be extremely different on both ends, where some coaches have very little amounts and others have austerely big amounts. So I would like to also advocate for equity and equality, but this is within